Again, I'm not sure that that was the mother. It may have been. It may have been. Yes.
And certainly you were told it, if not by the mother, then by BCG herself.
That I can't recall, but if it's in the notes that BCG did that...
Well, the note suggests very clearly that it was the mother who told you that, because you got the mother's name, colon, and then you jot down a few points that she made, apparently, and then it says, dash, being a new one, says BCH has abused 2 younger children, possibly BCK2 at age 2.
That's on the basis. It's very difficult to do that. One can assume that wherever I put a dash in the notes against the name, that one can assume that that person said that.
Yes. And then if we look at page 5, you'll see it has BCK. That's the eldest daughter. And it's underlined twice, and it has a colon, and then in brackets it says by herself. Do you see that?
Sorry, I'm just still looking. BCK.
There's an unredacted copy you've been given now.
Okay.
Obviously, you appreciate, Mr. Ally, that we're doing our very best not to mention the names of these people involved.
Certainly, yes.
So do you see page 5?
Yes, I've got that now.
And you see it has the name of the oldest daughter?
Correct.
I think is your daughter-in-law.
Yes.
And it says in brackets by herself.
Yes.
And then there are various things jotted down there. And in the 9th line, it says on abuse to, and it mentions her name, question mark dash, and then there's an arrow, and it says yes, at age 3, remembers vividly. Do you see that?
Yes.
So she also told your committee about having been abused by her father.
Yes.
And this was your judicial committee prior to the appeal committee.
It appears that way, yes.
Yes. And then, if you look at page 8, you'll see this on the sixth line where it's indented. It says she does not like what Dad is doing with, and it has a redacted name, that's the other woman, and commendably when pulled up before the other woman by the father to deny charge of molestation to the eldest daughter, BCK, she insisted on the truth despite the father's efforts to the contrary. Do you see that?
I do.
And the she that's referred to, you will see, is the eldest daughter herself. If we go to the previous page, page 7. right at the foot of the page. Well, you can see the page there. You'll see down the left-hand side there are a couple of bits that are underlined. Near the middle of the page it says next day, or sorry, that day, no, next day. Then 3 lines below that it says that night. And then right at the foot of the page it says same night, we visit BCK, that's the eldest daughter, for some talk on Watchtower articles. And then it says over. And when one goes over the page, it carries on. And what it records here, does it not, again, the elder daughter confirming that she herself had been abused by her father.
It does, yes. Is that your reference is to the second line?
It's the second indented line.
Yeah.
Yes. Second and third. I beg your pardon. Third and fourth. Deny charge. Well, one has to really read it as a sentence. She, that's the eldest daughter, does not like what her father is doing with the other woman, and commendably, when pulled up before the other woman by the father to deny the charge of molestation to her, she insisted on the truth, despite the father's efforts to the contrary.
Yes.
And if you then go to the reverse of page 11, which is ring to 1489, perhaps we can just go to the previous page. You'll see the foot of the previous page, there's the date, 17 June 1989, met with BCI, that's the mother, and BCG. And then over the page, counsel given on confiding matters of family to congregation members, used articles and scriptures. Counsel given to BCG also on same matters using above articles. Also on attitude to mother, encouragement also given for her honesty and in seeking help, 1 Timothy 5:4. Counsel given to the mother on her part, as subjection to the father could have helped cause separation and subsequent matters. Used articles and scriptures of her responsibility, encouragement to help family. And then it says, interesting that both mentioned the eldest daughter as admitting to another, in inverted commas, attempt of molesting by the father when going to school at, and it's unclear, can you read that, what age that is? At something
Primary,
age?
probably primary school.
Well, it's got primary in brackets. The word before that looks like age, and before that it looks like it could be 10. At something crossed out, 10. At something
Primary with a question mark, is that what you're referring to?
just immediately before the primary with a question mark. What are the preceding 2 words?
That he was, when going to school at a later age? That's
Do you think at later age? Okay. Primary in with a question mark, need to check statement, and then quest. I take it that means question.
question.
Should one be studying with younger children even for a short time until things settle? Question mark. Do you recall what was that? What was that reference?
I'm not sure.
And then you see there's an arrow down from where it said need to check statement down to what's then written below that.
I do, yes.
And it says the father took the eldest daughter's hand to place it on his private parts, she pulled away and refused to speak with him for some time. So what this is the report from the mother and BCG about an incident involving the eldest daughter. Is that right?
Yes, this was during our meeting, it seems, yes.
Yes. And then finally, for now, at page 14, just you'll see at the foot of the page it's recorded, it's got the father's name. And then can you read it out? Read your handwriting, Mr. Ally.
BCH has admitted, is that
Yes.
the line? Okay. BCH has admitted to all things and also said that whatever BCG has said on molesting was true.
So the father told you and your committee members that he admitted to all things which you've underlined, and also said that whatever BCG had said on molesting was true. That's how it happened, isn't it?
Is that a question?
Yes, that's how it happened.
That's,
He admitted to your committee.
yeah, it seems he did.
Yes. Yes. And it was only thereafter that you disfellowshipped him, and that was on the other grounds in relation to his relationship with the other woman.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what did you do with these child abuse allegations that you'd received from two daughters directly and from the mother in respect of the much younger daughters? What did you do with those?
This was, from my memory and from the notes, it'd be good to read them in entirety. I believe that at the end of our findings, we could only, having dealt with one issue at that time with him on the first matters of leaving his wife, the father leaving his wife and going off with another woman, we had to deal with that. From what's been brought out here, it would seem that having done that, he appealed that decision. And it may have been, and one would need to have to see any other notes with the appeals committee, that the other matter then may have been dealt with, but we needed to finalise that particular case against him and what he was doing at that moment.
You told me yesterday that you didn't have corroboration or an admission that enabled you to find the allegations to be proven. That's not right, is it?
Well, on the basis of the notes, that's what was my recollection at that time. Yes.
But that recollection is not correct, is it?
Well, it appears that from the notes that some allegations had been brought out, and that's need to be taken.
More than allegations brought out, you've got apparently an admission.
Well, we still needed to then, in any judicial committees, follow through more thoroughly with, because it's a
What more do you need if you've got an admission?
I believe that on the other notes he may have denied that he only said that to do what he can to get out of that situation. But that's the aspect that we would look at. But in my recollection that beforehand, without the use of the notes, we needed to follow through with sustaining or substantiating those matters as well.
Mr. Ally, you had received allegations of extremely serious conduct by a father against 4 of his daughters. Not so?
They were allegations, yes.
Yes. Well, they were allegations, but they were directly from 2 of the daughters themselves, who by that time were adults, albeit young adults. That's right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, can I ask again that last, what you said at the end there?
2 of the people who reported this abuse to you were themselves the victim of the abuse. And at the time they reported, they were adults.
Yes, yes.
They were not very young children.
You're talking about BCG
and her elder sister.
Yes,
yes. And you then had the mother tell you about what the father had done to the 2 younger daughters.
It seems that way in that's what she
told us yesterday that you believed BCG.
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
And you said that you thought she was very courageous.
Yes.
And you believed her.
I stipulate that again.
Yet you regarded the adultery allegations as being more pressing to deal with those than these serious allegations. How can that be?
Well, I don't think it's quite as simple as ignoring it. We didn't ignore it. It simply was in the process, because it only taken a day or 2 or whatever. I think the dates look at how long this process took, and it was very, very quick.
Well,
it did not take months or anything like that. It continued to be dealt with.
The dates don't bear that out. It started on the 1st of June. You suggested it might even have been the 1st of May. By the time you were told by the mother and the sister, from the notes, it appears still to be the 1st of June. And it goes all the way through, and it's only on the 19th of July that there's an appeal. So your finding on the adultery was on the 19th of July or shortly before. It took a very considerable time.
Yes, within that month, but it was still had not been ignored, I would suggest, from the notes here.
This man, to your knowledge and belief, on the information you'd received, was a danger to young girls, wasn't he?
Certainly it was.
And what did you do about that to protect young girls in your congregation and worldly young girls?
Well, in BCG's case, for a start, because we had the charge or accusation made about other children within that family, that had needed to be substantiated, but it was a process of following through, and it was to acquaint even with the innocent parent, following through with what she had to say, what other things could we do to support that. In BCG's case, she was taken out of that environment immediately. So the protection was extended to her because it appeared that I think it was still current or had been coming up to that time that we needed to deal with that. So it was an immediate thing in her case, but it needed time then to follow through with the others.
Let's take a look at your statement. At Ringtail 0003, paragraph 5.6, so it's at the foot of the page, numbered as 6.
Is this my personal statement?
Yes, your statement to this commission dated the 10th of July. It will come up
Yep.
on the screen in a moment.
Could you give me that reference again, please?
It'll come up on the screen for you, but it
Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.